Researchers argue that Aziz Dheri is one of the most important archaeological sites in this entire region. The reasons are, first, it is the only stupa settlement. Secondly, it is the largest stupa settlement. And thirdly, it offers you an uninterrupted cultural profile of the ancient Gandhāra period. Let's explore it. I'm joined by Mr. Fawad Khan, who is professionally working here at Aziz Dheri as assistant curator. And he's going to walk us through the entire site. So my first question is, what is the difference between votive stupa and the main stupa?
So we have two types of the stupa. One is the main, which is the main activity part of the central people. The other is a votive stupa. These stupas, these small stupas, they are actually created by some people for donation, or like sometimes the merchants or the monks who are visiting and they stayed over there, and so then after that they just create a small stupa for the people for their worshipping purposes. And you can see that here, starting from here, religious custom was that they were circumambulating in the clockwise. So here you can see from the start, from the beginning, here is a Jataka story, which is the previous birth story of the Buddha. This one is the Dīpaṃkara Jataka, which is believed, actually there were about 540 or 542 Jataka stories. The Buddha is not only this, our historical Buddha. He was born 540, 542 times before this birth to bless the people. So this one, the Dīpaṃkara Jataka, this is considered to be the last one, and it occurred in the Nangarhar area of the Afghanistan. So as it is in close boundaries with the Gandhāra, so very often we found these Dīpaṃkara Jatakas in Gandhāra. So starting from here, we have the Dīpaṃkara Jataka. The next scene, you can see the birth of Buddha. Here, the mother, Queen Maya, she's standing and giving birth or delivering the Siddhartha. Next, this is the story from in the...
So the life cycle of Buddha.
The life cycle of the Buddha, yes. It also worked actually as a movie, as an education for the monks, so they could easily understand. Rather, they can study in the books and the old books. So here they can see it live. Then here we have the sculpture of Buddha, and we have the Bodhisattvas. This type of fashion, it occurred in some late period of the Buddhist era, and about in our archaeology terms, we can call them the Kedarites or the late Kushans.
Okay.
That the stucco art, that was developed in that time. There were some reasons. First one was that by that time, people started attacking, invading this land. So the artist there doesn't have much time to cut a rock and to polish it and to make a sculpture, and so they didn't have time. So easily they can take a mold, they can put stucco in it, and easily they can carve. So this stucco art, it started in some late period of the Buddhist history. So finally here we have the death scene of Buddha. You can see the line, there are the mourning figures.
The stupa that we earlier visited was votive one, and this is the main stupa. So why is it called main stupa?
Well, comparing the size of the stupas, so far we have the bigger in size in this site so far discovered. So we are calling it the main stupa. Another characteristic is that here we have found the stair risers, which is a very unique element in the Gandhāra. So far from any other site we don't found the so compact and so solid stair risers. From this site, from this stupa, we have found the stair risers.
So you were mentioning about stair raisers.
Yes.
What are those?
Stair raisers are again actually they are the panels in the schist stone. And they are again depicting the life stories or sometimes the flora fauna of that time. And they are installed in these steps to give the stupa more beautification, more moderation. So that is a very unique aspect in the Gandhāra art. So far in any other stupa, we don't have found any such examples. But here in this stupa, we have the complete story of the complete stairizers in these steps.
So when was this archaeological site discovered?
The discovery is for the very first time. It was mentioned in 1913 in the Archaeological Survey of India by Nathisa Yar. He was the then superintendent archaeology, and he discovered for the very first time this site. Later on, Mr. Bruce of the Temple University, Russia, he mentioned this site. But later on in 1992, the Directorate of Archaeology and Museums, KP government, they have discovered this site and they have started the seasonal excavations. The excavations conducted here for the first time were in 93, then in 1994, 96, 98, up to 2013. The last session of excavation that was conducted was in 2013.
This site is massive and it still feels that it has a lot of potential. More artifacts will be there. If we are going to excavate it again, do you see the possibility of discovering more artifacts?
Yes, of course, the site do have many potentials. Actually, it is both a sacred and secular site. Both we have the stupas, monasteries, both we have the residential part of this. Normally, in the case of other stupas, they are on a side, mostly on the mountain tops, to give some discipline or to give some distance to the monks for their meditations. But this is a complex. We have the religious part of this site, we have the sacred, the secular side of aspect of this site. So of course it do have potentials. It has still many antiquities under it.
Antiquities that have been unearthed, where are they exhibited now? Where have been taken away?
Antiquities, some of them are now on the display in the Hand Museum, Swabi, as actually the site is also in district Swabi, so we have displayed them in the Hand Museum. And of course, major part of them are in the reserve collection.
So, are these monastic cells?
Actually, during the course of excavations, we have found that this site, it probably was from the earlier Kushans up to even we have traces of the Islamic period from here. So, these were originally monastic cells, chapels or cells. But later on, due to the continuation of time and the invasion of other dynasties, so probably they have converted them into some residential parts or other rooms.